experiencing the void, understanding yourself, knowing what lies beyond the natural. The Mudutu effect starts now.
Well, here I am. Whoa, there's music. I knew I was going to have technical difficulties. This is the first time I've been in the pilot seat ever. So, hi. So real quick, just want to let you know, this is the Mudutu effect. So what is the Mudutu effect? It's an idea. We are a group of people out of Saskatchewan, and we are an idea. It's a group, shared ideas. It's a family. It's we like to discuss things openly, without fear, without prejudices, without hate, and we are definitely exploring new possibilities. Excuse me. So, yeah, I'm looking at this. This is actually pretty bizarre for me because normally I'm sitting in the passenger seat and interviews and everything else, and I am definitely out of my comfort zone. So I'll just ask everybody to please be patient with me. So, who am I? Well, my name is Matt. I've been on the morning show. I've been on other radio shows. I've got a book. I'm really not a big fan of the I thing. So, it's, I'm more into the, sharing the information. And whether you agree or disagree, that's not the issue here. As long as you could take a piece away and think about it. So, we're not going to be sitting here discussing the answers to life's questions. That's up to you, not me. So I'm just going to present questions. And we're going to go through a full round on every episode. And yes, I'm going to be including music that are going to be made by practitioners and occultists. Also, music that fits the theme. So it may be bouncing. Tonight's theme is electronica. I'm also a songwriter, so Alchemy Prophet is me also. So, of course I'm going to steer toward electronica. But also there's the other aspect is I get it all the time from other people. My voice can be kind of relaxing. A little ASMR type thing, But anyway, we won't go there. What I want to do is focus on music that drives the questions. So, with that being said, and being that tonight's theme is electronica, I'm going to be coming out the gate with some heavier electronic music. But what are we going to be talking about on future shows? This is my introductory show, so I'm breaking you in softly because I do come up with some topics that might shake the tree because I like to see what nuts fall out. And I mean that almost literally. So you have anywhere between Magicks, witchcraft, occult, paranormal, supernatural, ufology. We're going to hit it all over the course of while I'm doing the show, until Jay kicks me off and says he's sick of me. I'm just saying, throw it out there. But we're so with that being said, I think I'm going to come out the gates. Neolux. And by the way, I want to point out, you're not going to find any of that love and light stuff coming out of my mouth. I like to stick with history and facts, and like I said, I like to shake the tree. I want people to think for themselves, and by the way, I am watching Discord at the same time on the other screen, so I will respond to any comments, well, within reason. We won't go with the Thanks, Jay. Raving, thank you for the voice. Normally Jared, who is my co-host on Perceptive Exchange, gets tired of my voice. So, but, I'm having a Jay moment here because I'm looking for my song, and I can't find it. In the meantime, when I mention that on the line of Magicks and the Occult, a lot of the reason I want to bring this up is that media, regular movies and TV shows, portray witches in a different light, and these snake oil salesmen also do the same thing, and it's time for people to know the truth about what the occult and magics are, and ufology, and the different ideas, and the whole concept. So I am going to change it up. I was going to go with Neolux, but I'm going to switch to Silent Shout by The Knife. If anybody is aware, the movie Vikings, the theme song was written by, why am I having a brain fart? I can remember formulas to incense, planetary signs, and everything else. But the brother and sister team with The Knife, it's an independent label, and this is from 2005. And Fever Ray, that was the name I was trying to remember. Holy crap. Oh, I need some more coffee or something. Emphasis on something. Okay, we're going to go with Silent Shout from The Knife. So Silent Shout, one of my favorites. I love the line with the proverbial cracked smile and a silent shout. There's a lot of times when on these TV shows and you walk into the proverbial metaphysical shop and you get this can do everything for you. You don't have to do anything. And, cracked smile, silent shout. So anyway, let's hit on the topic of UFOs because I really want to target this a little bit. I'm just going to touch on it a little bit because I have some later episodes that I want to discuss more in depth. And so here's the concept here. With the increased sightings all over the world, and I'm going to use Manitoba and Saskatchewan right now. Over the past 3 weeks, there's been multiple sightings all over the place, and they're always the same sightings. And of course, we get the whole, it's aliens, it's this, it's that, the guy with the drone. It's a million different things. But I want to kind of look at and propose some questions. And before I do that, I want to respond real quick. Yes, I just had this conversation before I came on the air. First time nervousness, ridiculous right now. I've always been with someone, or when I used to perform as Psyvamp, I was behind a mask. I could hide. I could be someone else. So yes, this is a new experience for me. I'm enjoying it though. This is good. So, but getting back to the UFO sightings. So my question is is it literally more sightings going on? I mean, that's the whole thing. Is because more and more people are at home. Is it that they're actually seeing, just stepping outside from the break, from the virtual office, and they're looking up more? I think this is actually a good thing, but is it now that people are actually noticing more anomalies in the sky, anywhere between SpaceX and all these other different things? It's given them more of an opportunity to open their eyes. I'm just throwing a few of these questions out there. A couple of the videos that I watched recently from the Manitoba perspective, there were 3 different sightings, 3 different locations, within hours apart, and they all said the same thing. Come this way. Come this way. I'm over here, man. Come over here. I got a beer for you. Whatever the comment was, it didn't really matter. If you look back in time, and you think about in the 60s and the 70s, especially during the Cold War, in the 80s, you had more people freaking out. And now, is it possible that people are more accepting of the possibility of an alien visitation or whatever the classification may be? And then there's leans more toward my personal theories, is that always in the past we looked at it, think of the old TV shows where the alien comes out and says, I'm here to, help you, I'm here to conquer you, I'm here to, all these different things. We come in peace. Gosh, I need an echo effect with that. Come in peace, peace, peace. Anyway. But with more theoretical sciences are coming out with so many multi-dimensional, multi-universe theories right now. Are we now looking in every possible direction? In ufology, is it, there's a possibility. I'm not saying we're the only people in the universe. That would be ridiculous of me to say. I firmly believe this universe is in a big, amazing place. But, as a practitioner, we explore it from a different perspective. But as, instead of looking at another planet, is it possible these anomalies are from other dimensions? And it's just some food for thought. I mean, because there are a lot of new theories, theoretical sciences are coming out with some, if we're alone in the universe, it seems like an awful big waste of space. It's like putting a little tiny home in 10 acres of land and never doing anything with it. But it's we are, I think, unfortunately, a lot of groups, and that's including with the paranormal, the supernatural, ufology, or whatnot, we're putting our blinders on, and we're not looking at every possibility. And I mean, just recently made a comment that when we're looking for something, sometimes we're looking for something specific, but we're not looking at everything around to get to that specific item. So, and like, I'm going to use this as an example. In certain branches of Magicks, a lot of people will strive to achieve the next goal without learning everything about it, and just for the ranking possibility. And it's the same thing with paranormal and supernatural and all these different things. People look at for a specific item. I call it the check engine light. You know, they want the little tool, the light to blink. They want the pendulum to swing. But they don't have an idea of who they're talking to. They just immediately walk out the door with speculation and assumptions based on their perception or their upbringing or geographic locations. So I've been on a bunch of paranormal investigations. I've investigated UFOs. I'm going to use the air quotation marks, quote unquote, ghosts, but it's not always the case. So I think that, now granted, with TV shows, it's there for entertainment. You know, you're not going to watch it if you don't see someone getting possessed on every episode. I'm not gonna say who that is. But whenever we're doing these investigations, we have to be more open to other possibilities. And agreed, Ravenwolf. So before I go into my discussion about perceptions, I do want to go into, I did find it. It was right in front of me, going back to looking for specifics. Lovely. To Piercing the Veil. We're going to, by Neolux. They're right out of Romania. It's a practitioner electronic groups, and I actually love the messages they drop into the songs. So if this don't wake you up at 10 o'clock at night, I don't know what will. So, Piercing the Veil by Neolux. Okay, wow. So that was Piercing the Veil by Neolux out of Romania. I just love their music. My daughter really loves the heavy bass. She could be as tired as all get out. And in case you haven't wondered, I have a slight southern accent. I just want to throw that in there. I did say Canada, but I'm originally from the South, so I apologize way ahead in advance. I did not come from a trailer park. I'm just saying. Okay, let's get let's get into the concept of perceptions. We have so I can go all over the map with this because this is one of those subjects that if you ever see my YouTube channel and I'm having discussions about perceptions. Our perceptions, they can play a role in, our geographic, our society around us, our pre-programming, growing up. It's a whole wide variety of these different aspects that play a part, and it's tearing down these walls of perceptions that we strive to do. Anywhere, because the Mudutu effect is, I'm not trying to do the proverbial insert commercial here, but at the Mudutu effect, we have university, we have research facilities, everything else where we dig in deeper, because we know that our perceptions can be flawed and can create a false truth, because that truth is based on your own personal biases. So, and what I mean by perception, so let's pick on the paranormal for a second. So right away, like today, we've got a flood of images of ghosts. They're immediately ghosts. They're always ghosts or demons, and occasionally angels. So with that being said, once again, this is using pre-programmed biases to take an image and state that it is a specific item. So I'm going to use one of my videos that I had a discussion on perceptions. So the concept of time and space and all these other aspects that we're used to seeing around us is all based off of formulas that we have founded in this physical universe, around this universe. The concept of time. It's a three-part formula based on here. Now, how can we determine if something is communicating to us from across the veil and we don't know those missing pieces of the formula? So immediately, a person assumes that if something's talking to it, it's it's based off of this physical world. Well, that's not where it's coming from. So how can you immediately assume that? Because we know what happens when you assume. Not going to say. So and I did a lecture one time in Ontario at Occulticon, and I played this sound, and it sounded like this deep, groveling, demonic voice, and everybody's cringing in their chair. And I said, now you're sitting in the dark, and you hear that voice. What's your first thought? Everybody in the whole room said, demon. Okay. Now, not knowing the time equation, if we change the audio to fit to our current time, it was just my voice saying, hi, how are you? So the perceptions of time and space, and especially visual, can be skewed because we don't understand, we're trying to grasp on what we know, and what we only know is what's in this physical universe. So let's go to the visual part of it. Pareidolia plays a huge part in most investigations. I saw a face in the mirror. I saw, the man in the moon. I saw, I'm going to pick on one. I see, what is it? It was a post on Facebook. I saw a cricket and a flame. It meant this. Stop. Anyway, so pareidolia plays a huge part, and pareidolia is when your brain tries to take an image out of an object and make it into something you can relate to, a face or whatever, the Eiffel Tower. It doesn't really matter. It's you taking an object and that is all distorted, and immediately your brain make it into something that you can relate to. That's what pareidolia basically is. So that goes on so much in the paranormal and the supernatural and across the board, even in the magical practices and occult studies. So, but there's also that other aspect. How does an image portray itself from across the veil? Now I'm using that term loosely. The veil is a generalized term. Some people call it, the ethereal plane. Some people call it, I don't know, the curtain. So I'm using that as a generalized term, so I apologize. But looking at something coming across the veil, wouldn't you think also, since sight, vision, light waves are also based off of equations that are based off of this universe? We don't know what it is in another dimension or another side of the veil. So I'm going to, in one of my YouTube talks, I talk about how, and my daughter loves this one because I did the whole green screen bit. I really went overboard with this. And I'm talking to myself and as an apparition. But when I look across the veil, I see this monstrous creature talking to me because pareidolia kicks in. The concept of identifying what I'm seeing. The perception of people feeling themselves being scratched. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying not all cases are that, because if somebody's operating at a different frequency across the veil and they reach out and they try to touch you, it could literally feel like anywhere between the goosebumps on the back of your neck or a scratch or a burn, because they're operating, that's how their body operates at a different frequency. So with perceptions, I'm just asking everyone to, in all forms of communication, just be respectful. And it doesn't matter if it's to your friend or to even a stranger, unless you're like me, not a real people person. I'll be respectful in my conversation, but because through respect, we gain knowledge. It could be just small trickles, or it could be a complete aha moment. So I am going to throw on another song, and this is from DOS Immortal. I didn't have it prepped. I was too busy running my mouth, and when I'm talking, I'm flailing my arms around like you can actually see me. This should be on video, so it'd actually be more funny. But I was kind of thinking along the lines of not only something stepping across the veil, but also with the UFOs. So we're going to go with DOS Immortal out of Quebec, and yeah, maybe I'm recording it. Thanks, Jared. Oh, and in case you're wondering about that comment, Jared is actually here. The store is open, and I'm hiding in the basement in a corner talking to you. It sounds creepy, right? Yeah, okay. So let's go with It Comes by DOS Mortal out of Quebec. This is off of the Miami Beach Witches. You have to say that really slow or you'll say the wrong thing. Okay. Here's It Comes. So DOS Mortal out of Quebec. Yeah, I'm not going to try to... 0 point. Would love to chat with you guys about the stuff that goes on in my house. For about 15 years, things felt, and no one can explain it. And before I get into the next topic, I actually want to answer that. There's been a lot of... we actually set up a hotline, believe it or not, for on the Mudutu effect on our telephone system, so that we can actually have a conversation. And the past couple conversations have all been hypersensitivity to anywhere between the EMF fields, causing triggers in the brain to hallucinate or make you feel certain ways, or a whole bunch of naturally explained. However, the one that I did run across, I explained to him that, which is usually the case, is if you actually establish some type of communication, just say, hey, I hear you, I saw that, appreciate it, but this is my house. A lot of times they will go on their own. They've got their message across, even though you may not fully understand it. This goes back to the perception thing. That's usually the case. Even if it's, something keeps showing up missing, well, then I wouldn't go along the line of a spirit. I would go along the line of like if it's silver or sugar out of the sugar bowl. Believe it or not, that's a thing. I'm just saying. It's I never really believed in the Fae concept, the little people, and until we actually caught evidence of it. And so there's a huge plethora of different things that could be, instead of just a ghost or demons. So, we actually, when we have activity here in the building, this is a 113-year-old bank that we live in. Fortified, strengthened. It's just in case the pitchforks and the torches show up. You never know. We don't hide who we are. So it's we do have some activity here, and we look at it as just guests in our house. That's all we do. But with that being said, I want to point out, and since this is my introductory show, this is partly my disclaimer. I have over 40 years of being a practitioner in the occult. Less than that, probably about 30 years, anything with the paranormal, and I'm still not an expert. There are no experts. I want to point that out, because we're all working off of perceptions, as I said before. We are all learning. It's how we share what we learned. I can give you a ton of stories, examples. So usually when a person says their place is haunted or they're having these activities, that's almost like a 2-hour interview, because you got to know what's going on in their head, what's going on at the location, what is the emotion that are going on while these activities are going on. It's a whole lot of factors, and a true investigator is investigating. Unfortunately, there are investigators that are immediately, wow, I told you I was from the South, a lot of syllables in there, bear with me, immediately reach conclusions without doing a proper investigation and a process of elimination. So I want to say, with all these years of experience, I am not an expert. I've just rode hard, put up wet, pretty much so. And so I can offer suggestions, I can offer ideas and different points of views, but at the end of the day, it's up to the individual to take charge and to reach their own conclusions. But once again, try to step away from your own biases. Because if you do that, you're never going to truly see. I just posted a meme on the Mudutu page about that. So whenever somebody comes to you and says that they are an expert, I'm an expert in the occult, I'm an expert in the paranormal field, ask them about their experiences, because a lot of times it's just what they read in a book or what they saw on TV. I actually know teams that have based their investigation process off of what they've seen on TV, which is disturbing, because we know that TV is there for entertainment. It's there to make you laugh, make you jump and scare. I mean, I've been part of a TV show. Unfortunately, our TV show was focused on educating the public, so it wasn't quite as popular. And we just focused strictly on the facts, what it could be, what it couldn't be, and without throwing out a whole bunch of "it's a demon." I'm sorry, but that's one of my biggest hang-ups, is whenever a paranormal team immediately respond to something. I'm just going to share a story. This is a real life situation in Regina, Saskatchewan, and we get a call about a demon in the home. Once again, this is a religious biased point of view of what could be happening. I'm emphasizing remove biases. So we get a call. They've already spent close to $5,000. No, it's $3,000 on getting the house cleansed. People have been charging them to come in and do the whole sage mess and that whole 9 yards. So we get called in. We spend 2 hours on an interview, and we find out they were fixing to pay. Well, the reason they shut down the previous group because they wanted to charge them $5,000 to exorcise their autistic child because they were possessed. These people are leeches and scum of society. I have no shame in admitting that, and if you're listening and you do take advantage of people like this, you should be ashamed of yourself. But what it turned out is I pulled out the Zener cards from Dr. Zener developed these cards for testing ESP in the 70s, because there's a lot of research around that, right alongside of LSD and everything else. But the point is that I pulled out the Zener cards. Now, there is a lot of probability you have to take into account when somebody's doing the Zener cards. But I held up the card, I looked at the daughter, and I said, "Can you tell me what card I'm holding up?" She couldn't. I asked the mother after I switched the cards out. She couldn't. I gave the card to the mother. The daughter picked it up right away. I gave it to the daughter. The mother picked it up right away. It was actually them. They were so in tune to each other. They were picking up on their daily frustrations, and they were manifesting it. Because fear and anger and all these emotions, you can project it, and you can manifest these things into this physical reality. So, but I agree, Raven. I know we've shut down so many different groups like that, and made very public of groups. I'll give you another one, Raven Wolf. A lady called Upset. She left a voicemail crying. She was in hysterics. Rightfully so, because she called a paranormal team in the States for advice, how to deal with, some activity going on in their home. Immediately, they had her convinced, without proper investigation, with no logical means that I can come up with, that her home was demonically occupied and that her life is threatened. Her children were going to be slaughtered by this demon and everything else. So she was just absolutely horrified. Once again, religious biases comes into play. They're preying on people's fears. So I don't know what the money amount, I don't know what any of that, but I wanted that information of what team it was so I could publicly shame them, because that's ridiculous. People should not be preying on those. But we've got that at used car lots. We've got that at some of the metaphysical shops. We've got that at, across the board. And people, especially right now, are dangerously easy prey, because they're reaching out and they're wanting that sanity, that comfort, and people coming in. I agree. And Raven, well, whenever we're having our classes or anything, And even when we do investigations, we've never charged because we look at it as a point of we're learning. Why would we charge for something? Because once again, I'm going back to what I said before. No one's experts. So, but with that being said, and if I get my little fingers in here, there we go. It's really important that you believe in yourself. Don't take the perspective of someone else, and grow. And try not to. I've said it a million times, and I have it in my book. Religion, even Magicks, as a practitioner, doesn't have a place in investigations because you're going in biased. You are actually, if you rely on that as an answer, you are once again going in blind, and you're not really investigating. So after this next song, which is Believe by Neolux, going back to Neolux, I'm sorry. I'm just apologizing ahead of time. So, Neolux, with this song, Believe, I love the message that that's sitting inside, but it's more, I'm asking everybody to believe in yourself.
Many have pondered upon the question, is this reality the one reality? Is our universe the only universe? Can we know where we go and where we come from? Just believe.
Neolux, believe. So, I've only got, 7 minutes left? Wow, that flew by really quick. And I've got so many topics. Anyway, so we're going to just cut it short, and we're not really cutting it short. That seems to be the story of my life. Anyway, we're all I'm asking is that when people are giving you any type of perception or any type of distinct analysis of what's going on, first off, ask them their experience. Second off, ask them if they're willing to actually experience the same thing you are. Because don't let someone define to you, which is actually our next show's topic, define to you who you are, what you should believe, and and don't let them take advantage of you. If they do, send me their name. I'll make it public. So I'm going to close out with Bow Church. They're from London, and this is called Summon. So, if anything, summon your strength and stand up for what you believe in, but also be open to learn more. Bow Church, thank you so much. I enjoyed this immensely, aside from all my hiccups. And I hope you have a wonderful evening, day, and afternoon. If it's going to play. Bow Church, hello. I loaded it up.